Okay, it's Thursday, and what we learned about today is more graphing, and we're going to look at slope formula, and we're going to look at the equation of a line formula. But let's go ahead. Topic would be linear, we'll call them formulas for right now. All right, so let's go ahead and start. Example 1. From the graph, find the following. The x-intercept. Well, let's check it out. The x-intercept is right where it crosses the x-axis, right? If it's up 2 over 3, it looks like it's about -1 1/3. In fact, that's exactly what it is. So the x-intercept is at really -1 1/3, 0. Okay, see how it crosses right about there, and it is a third because I'm going up 2 over 3, but it's got to be right there. The y-intercept, it's at 1. So y-intercept at 0, 1. I'm just getting it from the graph. I'm just looking. There's my y-intercept. That's my y-axis, my x-axis. So my y-intercept is right there. Now the equation of the line. Let's see. Let's see if I can put this together. I want to use y equals mx plus b. And you guys had that in your reading today. So let's use it. So the m is the slope. Well, in this case, the slope, which is rise over run. Remember, slope is rise over run. In this case, the slope would have to be up 2 over 3. Up 2 over 3. So the slope is 2/3. All right, I'm going to put that right there. Okay. Now the b is the y-intercept. It's the y-intercept. Okay. It's where it crosses the y-axis, not the x-axis, but that is b. That's our y-intercept b. So my equation is pretty easy. I'm just going to rewrite this as y equals, remember slope is up 2 over 3 x plus 1, because my y-intercept or my b, my y-intercept is 1. Easy. We've done this before. Okay, example 2. Find the equation of the line if a is at 3, -2, and b is -1, 2. Now sometimes we can just get the answer by graphing. So let's see if we can get that. So let me go 3, 1, 2, 3, -2. There's point A. 3, -2, and b is at -1, 2. All right, there it is. Let's see if I can connect these dots. Find out where it crosses. All right. Well, I think I can get the slope pretty easily. It looks like it's down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. So the slope has got to be -1 over 1, but we'll just call it -1. The slope is -1 over 1. And the y-intercept, which is b, pretty sure is right there at 1. Okay, we can just count it. So I like to use my y equals mx plus b. And then to do that, I'll put my -1 for m. I'll go y equals -1x plus 1. Not too bad. Okay, now, example 3. Doggone it. Can't graph it. The numbers are too ugly. So we're going to have to get the equation. All right? To get the equation, I'm going to do 2 different formulas. All right? First of all, we have to find the slope. So the slope we know from our reading is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And we got to do that first. Got to find the slope first. All right? Scoot over so you guys can see it. Sorry about that. Well, every point has got x and a y value. So this is x1, y1. This is x2, y2. So my slope would be 1.8. That's y2. I'm going to put it in the formula. 1.8 minus y1, which is a -2.3, over x2, which is 6.5, minus x1, which is 4.1. Okay, I just put my y2 minus my y1 over my x2 minus my x1. All right, now I got to do a little bit of math. Double negative makes a plus, right? So let's see what I get. I'm going to go, let's see, 1.8 plus 2.3 is 4.1 over, let's see, 6.5 minus 4.1. I get an answer of 2.4. And I'm actually going to divide this. I'm going to get a decimal answer, but a decimal answer is okay. Well, kind of a decimal answer. 4.1 divided by 2.4. And I get about a 1.71. So I get about approximately 1.71. Okay, we're going to use that as a slope. So I'm going to put up here m equals about 1.71. Okay. Now, the next formula I like to use is the point slope formula. And hopefully you guys had that in your reading. So if I have a y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And we saw this yesterday in the lesson. I used this, kind of threw it in there at you, okay? So we know the m, 1.71, and we know x1, y1. So we're just going to plug these values. I'm going to plug the negative 2.3 there, 4.1 in for x1, and I'll put this 1.71 in for the m, right there, right there. So let's do it. Y minus, let's see, y1 is a negative 2.3 equals m, which we said was a 1.71 times x minus, let's see, x1 is about a 4.1. Okay, so I'm just using my formula. I like this formula. This is one of my favorites. I like this one better than y equals mx plus b, okay? So, double negative makes a plus, right? And I'll have a y plus 2.3 equals, I'll distribute 1.71 x minus, well, that's 4 times that. Let's see. Let's go 1.71 times 4.1. I get an answer of about 7, close enough to 7.01. We'll just call it 7. We'll subtract 2.3, subtract 2.3, and y equals a 1.71x minus a 9.3. Alright, the bummer is most situations in the world, in life, don't always give us nice numbers. Kind of like this. Doesn't happen that often. Most of our numbers in real life situations are more like this. So we can do it because we have a formula. Okay, example 4. These are like points. They really are points. X, Y, these are points. So let's graph it first. We've got a negative 3, 1, 2, 3, and a 1.5. 1.5, about there. We've got a negative 1 and 1, okay? X, Y, right? I got a 1 and a 0.5, about there. And I got a 3 and a 0. Okay, it looks to me like it's pretty linear. It does. So what I'd like to do is first let's figure out what the slope is. I'm going to pick, it does say using the slope formula, right? But I think I can get the actual slope by counting. I'm going to go down 1 over 1, 2, 3. Okay? You see it? I'm going to show it. I've got this point right here, and I got this point right here. And if I went down 1 over 3, I've got the slope. Down 1 over 3. Okay, I like that, because if I can get it, if I use my slope formula, I'd have to pick 2 points. I'd probably pick these 2 points. And I'd do my slope formula. I'd go, okay, y2 minus y1. I'd go to 0 minus 1 over x2 minus x1 should be 3 minus a minus 1, which is going to give me, oh, no, I'm glad I checked that. It's down 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, I'm so glad I checked that, because I'm going to get a negative 1/4. Oh, my goodness gracious. Negative 1/4. Glad I did the formula, because I had it wrong. Okay, now, I'm not sure exactly where it goes through. I mean, if I draw this line, now I'm going to probably need my formula, okay? So if I draw this line right in here, nice straight line, looks like it might go through 3/4. I'm not sure. Let me go ahead and use my y minus y1 equals m times my x minus x1. I just have to pick a point. Either one of these look great. This one's got a 0 in it, so I'll probably pick this one. This would be my x1, my y1. Any of these 4 points will work. Any of them. But I'm going to pick the easiest one. I picked 3, 0 because there's a 0 there. So I'll go y minus y1, which is 0, equals m, which turned out to be negative 1/4, times x minus x1, which is 3. Alright? That's just y, right? And that is a distribute negative 1/4 x plus, sure enough, 3/4. Kind of looked like it too, didn't it? All right, you ready to turn the page? Here we go. All right, example 5. Write the equation of the line parallel to the point 4, 5. So first of all, let's graph it, okay? So we got a point 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And I've got this line, start at 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1.5 is the same thing as 3/2, so I'd have to go up 3 over 2, down 3 over 2, down 3 over 2. Okay, so here is my line. So let's take a look at the picture, okay? All right, there it is. Now we did this in geometry, and we learned a really easy way to do it, and hopefully we can still remember it, okay? So if they're parallel, okay, if they're parallel, they have to have the same slope. They have to. So the equation I'm going to draw here in blue, the equation there in blue, I do know this. It's going to have at least y equals, same slope, 1.5x plus something. Now it's going to come through here somewhere. Let's see if we can find it. So I'm going to walk it. I know the slope is 3, 2. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Boom, I found the y-intercept. I like it when it happens this way. Now the lines are parallel. They look parallel. They have the same slope. Up 3 over 2, up 3 over 2. This one passes through at -1. These lines are parallel. They have to be parallel. Same slope. They just start in different places. The blue line goes to the point at 4, 5, which is what we were asked. All right, last example, example 6, okay? So let's change this to y equals 3/2 x plus 6, because it just makes it easier to work with. Okay, so we got the point 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there it is. Again, we did this in geometry. So here's what we know. Very important thing. The slope. They have opposite slope. Okay, if they have opposite slope, the slope here is 3/2. The slope of the perpendicular line is going to be -2/3. Okay, so what do? Opposite means you got to flip it. So you flip the fraction and you change its sign. If it's positive, it becomes negative. If it was negative, it becomes positive. So I gave it the opposite slope. So what am I going to do now? Let's see. What I could do, let's graph the original. Start at 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up here. And same thing, up 3 over 2, or down 3 back 2, down 3 back 2. And if I graph in the original line, there it is. Now the perpendicular line's probably going to go something like this. Let's see if I can make it look perpendicular. Probably something like this, okay? All right, again, if I can get the y-intercept without a whole lot of trouble, then I wouldn't have to use a formula. But I can use a formula if I need to. All right, in geometry, we just walked it. We knew that the slope is -2/3. So I'd go down 2 over 3, but that's going the wrong direction. Let's go up 1, 2 over 1, 2, 3. It's not going to work. Doggone it, going to have to use a formula. That's all right. I've got a good formula. Formula, again, I like is my point slope formula. All right, that is my y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. That's the one I like. Okay, I need a point that it goes through. Well, that's easy. It's 4, 5. Okay, it goes through 4, 5. So my x1, y1 is my 4, 5. So I can use this one. And I have a slope. I have to use the perpendicular because I'm looking for the blue line, so I use its slope. So let's plug it in. Y minus, see, y1 is 5. So put in the 5 because that's y1 equals m, which is a -2/3 times x minus my x1, which is my 4. Alright, so I'm going to have a y minus 5 equals, distribute, -2/3 x plus 8/3. See, this is going to be 8/3, okay, because that's 4 over 1, 8/3. Well, that's the same thing as 2 2/3, right? So if I go plus 5, add these, it's like really 2 2/3 plus 5 has to make 7 2/3. I know fraction is killing you. Okay, so -2/3 x plus, if you add these, you get 7 2/3. All right, that is it for the day. Tomorrow's Friday, yay, and homecoming.